What's up, you guys? Zach Brunner from Flurry Sports here. Second time recording this video, so let's hope it goes a little bit better. This is immediately after the snooze fest that was Sunday Night Football. This was a weird week. We saw some colossally massive fantasy performances. We saw people who just didn't show up, and we saw some blowouts that really means there isn't a lot of context to take away from that. So let's dive into the fantasy football snap counts. I'll provide context where it is needed. And hopefully with that, combined with the box scores, combined with all that, you can get a little bit more information heading into your waiver wire pickups for this week. Let's just jump right into it. So flurrysports.org is where all of these snap counts will be always. If you have any questions whatsoever, by the way, whether it be, yes, the snap counts are here. Zach, how many routes did this player run? What's the snap share percentage? Whatever it may be. If you have any questions like that, drop them in the comments below. Like and subscribe as well. Ask any questions. Say anything about your fantasy team. If you started both Jonathan Taylor and 8-Chain, go ahead and brag about it. That is totally cool as well. Every single day in November, we have at least one brand new full-length video here on the channel. Today, you guys are spoiled because you guys get two videos. One is already up, and that is Jake did a full fantasy booking and prediction for the John Cena tournament and his last match. So if you are a wrestling fan, or if you're like me who likes wrestling but doesn't have time to watch it, and you want to get, keyed into this storyline a little bit, go ahead and watch that video. He did a really good job with it. So definitely go show that video some love. But for now, let's talk about some NFL. Let's talk about some snap counts. And again, yeah, there's a lot of weird games this week, so we'll provide context where it's needed. And this is the second time shooting this video, so I think we are going to cruise through this one faster than typical. So with that being said, if I do skim over anything, if there's any questions, like I said, just drop them in the comments below because we're going to move quickly here. Now, Raiders-Broncos snooze fest on Thursday Night Football. They traded away Jacoby Myers, so this is the receiving breakdown, I guess, post Jacoby Myers. Good to see Tyler Lockett played 34 snaps. Of course, you got to see what Tyler Lockett can do for your fantasy or for your franchise here. The interesting thing I would say is Thornton previously was behind Jack Besh. That looks to be flipped, at least in this game. Neither performed extremely well. Both were blocking a decent amount, which is good. But yeah, I don't know how much to take away from this, I suppose. But at the moment, it looks like Thornton could be ahead of Besh, and Lockett is on the field too much. Broncos trailing for much of this game, and RJ Harvey still didn't play a ton of snaps. It was Tyler Beatty who played a lot in the receiving game. For all the people who are really critical about New England, about how they use their rookie running back, I think this is a situation where you could be a little bit more critical. I fully get not having RJ Harvey on the field for, snaps where he has to pass protect. I don't think he's great at that. I think he's a pretty good runner, and I know he's a really good receiver. There's no reason Tyler Beatty should be on the field in running routes. Like, that should be RJ Harvey, in my opinion. Cortland Sutton and Troy Franklin continue to be the top two receivers here. Marvin Mims Jr. is out, but Troy Franklin led in receiving, and he has been the target leader, especially over the past month, over Cortland Sutton. So something interesting to watch there. Over in Germany, Bijan Robinson's lining up a lot as a wide receiver right now. So they're running both running backs on the field at the same time, with Bijan split out. He still controlled the backfield snap share, though. He played a ton of snaps, even though Tyler Algier came in and vultured a couple touchdowns. Make no mistake, Bijan is safe in his role. Colts are trailing for pretty much this entire game. So what's interesting here is Josh Downs ran 22 routes on 77 total plays with the Colts losing. So we've seen what Josh Downs is when the Colts are playing from ahead without Pittman, ahead without Pierce, and now we've seen his role when they're trailing. And all I have to say is if Josh Downs is at the end of your bench, I think you can cut him. There's no reason to hang on to this guy. I think he's a really good receiver. I like him as a player. There just really isn't a reason to have him for fantasy football. Like, I don't know the scenario where you would start him and feel okay about it. So that's all I have to say about that. Saints and Panthers. So Saints traded away Rashid Shaheed. Chris Olave got a little bit banged up in this game. because of those two things, we saw Taysom Hill play the most snaps he has this season. We also saw Devon Vele play a ton of snaps, possibly a little bit more snaps than he typically would, but they like this guy. Remember, they traded a decent amount for him, so they need to see what they got in him. And I like him as a player quite a bit. I think he's a little bit raw. He's an older, inexperienced player, but I think he has the potential to be pretty darn good. So look for a healthy dose of Vele down the stretch, and he could take advantage potentially. Kamara looked a little bit better in this game as well, just given the matchup. They have a lot of really nice matchups down the stretch, so interesting group to keep track of. For Carolina, nothing really to say. This is Dowdle's backfield. Tet McMillan was hampered by an injury, hamstring injury again, all week long. He still played 48 of 53 snaps, so that's good to see. Giants, Bears, Tyrone Tracy controlled this backfield, but do not make this an anti-Devin Singletary week. In my personal opinion, he is more must-own than ever. Like, he continues to get plenty of yards receiving the football, but he continues to take all goal line and short yardage touches. So if there's one player who's going to score a touchdown, like, I think Singletary has a better shot to score a touchdown than Tracy. I'm not sure if Tracy has a single carry inside the 5-yard line all year long. So Singletary's going to get receiving production. He's going to get short yardage goal line carries. And if Tracy gets banged up whatsoever, Singletary's a bell cow. So he needs to be owned. Needs to. Nothing else there. Chicago, Colston Loveland played a ton of snaps, but that'll still be closer to 50-50 once Kmet is back. Swift came back and took control of this backfield yet again. That's about it. Burden's seeing a little bit more snaps now. Jacksonville traded for Jacoby Myers. No Brian Thomas Jr. in this game. Tim Patrick came back from injury and was the second snap count leader in this receiving core. Parker Washington, like I said last week, whenever he is given an opportunity, he produces. I think he's a really good football player, and that shows. In this game, he had an outstanding game. I mean, he had a return touchdown and an offensive touchdown, I do believe. So, really good player. I hope he continues to see snaps even when they are healthy, because he deserves them. He's earned them, and he deserves them. Houston, I don't know if this is a 1 week thing, but reading the tea leaves, they talked about Woody Marks getting more of the work heading into this week. We are seeing it in the snap counts. We're seeing it in the box score, and just eye test. Woody Marks is very clearly the better player at this point. So I do think Woody Marks has taken over this backfield. I don't think that's going to change. We shall see. I wouldn't push all my chips in the middle of the table based on that statement, but it certainly seems that is the case, which makes me sad because I'm a Nick Chubb fan. But just from a football standpoint, I think it's very clear watching these two play football, which one needs to be on the field and which one needs to be watching. You know what I mean? I love Nick Chubb, but is what it is. And also, this receiving core is what it is. Nothing to take away there. Buffalo, this is surprising, actually. I was not aware there was going to be snap counts because I didn't think anyone from Buffalo showed up for this game. So it's cool to see that they actually played. James Cook, Ty Johnson, about 50-50 split. That's interesting, I suppose. Shakir and Coleman are the top two receivers. Again, they're trailing, playing from behind. Dalton Kincaid got hurt first drive of the second half and did not return with a hamstring injury. So watch that. But even before that, he wasn't dominating snaps. He's someone I've been highly critical of for the past couple of years based on his role. I just don't think it's consistent or good for fantasy football, but he continued to produce. But now it seems like he's going to be missing some time with a hamstring injury. So that doesn't make anybody else more of an own in Buffalo in terms of the tight ends. But, Dalton Kincaid, he's someone I'm willing to sell if you can. Miami leading this entire game. Good on them, I suppose. Not a ton to take away other than Greg Dulcich. We talked about him last week. He is the clear receiving tight end when Darren Waller is out. And he played the majority of the snaps in this one as well. So I think you can, I don't think he needs to be started for fantasy football, but he is someone to keep an eye on. He's still a young player. So interesting situation there. Baltimore, tight ends. Pretty healthy split there at tight end. Other than that, Keaton Mitchell, when he's on the field, he touches the ball. So, from a defensive standpoint, that could certainly be a key for them going forward. He is, yeah, when he's on the field, he's touching the ball, and good things happen when he touches the ball for the most part. Minnesota. What I will say, Aaron Jones was surprised this week. His mom was there. He didn't know that was going to happen. They were honoring veterans for Veterans Day, right? And he comes from a big military family, so cool on that. Huge Aaron Jones fan. As a Packer fan, I love Aaron Jones. He deserves everything. So looking at this backfield, he dominated the snaps, right? I think he is the clear RB1A in this backfield, but given the Veterans Day implications and the emotional high he was on and all of that, I think this was just bound to happen. I don't think this is going to be that big of a split, that big of a difference going forward, but I do think he is the majority ball carrier. I think it's a RB1A, 1B situation. Jordan Mason isn't a must drop, and Aaron Jones could get hurt again. He is certainly injury prone. So I would prefer, if you own Jordan Mason, I would prefer to have him owned, but he's not someone I feel I wouldn't lose sleep if I had to drop him. You know what I mean? Good to see TJ Hawkinson did play in this game, because wouldn't have known that if you looked at the box score, right? Okay. Browns Jets. I really wish I would have known this was a Nick Mangold honoring game before placing bets on this game earlier in the week. Not that I love Cleveland or bet a ton on them or anything, but yeah, we knew they would play inspired football for Nick Mangold, and that showed up. Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson lead this backfield. Dylan Sampson took over as the third down running back coming out of the bye week, so looks to be the rookie show there going forward. They also highlighted Jerry Jeudy coming out of the bye, which makes sense. He's been largely ignored this season, despite being the number one receiver. It also is a product of the team they played. The Jets secondary was absolutely trash before the Sauce Gardner trade, and then they traded Sauce Gardner. So that tells you everything you need to know about them going forward. They also didn't have Quincy Williams, obviously. So I do think, otherwise, tight end wise, everything else. Cedric Tillman came back off IR. He is the wide receiver too. That's going to stay the same. Transitioning to the Jets, I can see them having a massive letdown performance this week. They played inspired football for Nick Mangold. Locker room came together after these trades, playing for the coach, playing for yourself, playing for whatever. They get a win, and then now it's like, okay, I think they play on Thursday Night Football against the Patriots. Watch out. That could be a disaster. Isaiah Davis mixes in. Breece Hall, majority ball carrier here. Garrett Wilson injured the exact same knee that has recently kept him out, so that's not good. And given the Jets season, I imagine they don't rush him back, so he's going to be missing some time. If you need to get rid of him, I would try to sell him maybe before there's a timetable put on his return. No other receivers at the moment need to be owned, though. I like Isaiah Williams as a football player. Tyler Johnson's a solid football player, too. But I like Isaiah Williams. I'm a fan of him. But I'm not a fan of Justin Fields, so ignore. Patriots Buccaneers, probably the best game of the week, maybe. I don't know. Like, this is a high stakes for each conference in terms of their race and stuff. I don't know. Two really good football teams, measuring stick game. Trevion Henderson dominated the backfield snaps. A lot of fantasy people patting themselves on the back. What they won't tell you is that Terrell Jennings got the first 4 carries of this game, I believe, and he got hurt. If he did not get hurt, he was going to be in for a big day. I can promise you that. So, is what it is. Trevion Henderson had a great game. He's a great football player. He, as I've been saying the entire time, is a complimentary back. He is not a bell cow. So as soon as Ramondre Stevenson comes back, he is back to being a complimentary back. He is a change of pace. Make no mistake about that. That's all I'll say about that. He's a great player. He had a great game. He certainly had the best game he will have this year, this week. So hopefully you started him and took advantage of that. If you didn't, I wouldn't chase that. Kayshon Boutte did not play in this game. This is the receiving core as a result. Kyle Williams, the rookie, played a lot more. Stephon Diggs is sort of locked into his role, which is good. And they, like I said, they're playing on a short week, so they both had to try to win the game and also manage their veterans a little bit, which is an interesting situation to be in. Obviously, it worked out. Matt Collins played quite a bit. But yeah, not a ton there. And then Tampa, I mean, no Bucky Irving, no Chris Godwin, no Mike Evans. Godwin seems to be several weeks away still. Bucky, I have no clue. But this is what it is with these three out. Arizona, Seattle. Bam Knight was the leader of the backfield, 35 snaps. He injured his ankle in the third quarter, did not return. So not sure if he will play next week or not, but situation to watch. Also, Trey Benson is going to be back either this upcoming week or the week after, it certainly seems like. So take a look at that. Receiving wise, pretty down the line. Zay Jones gets hurt, unfortunately, probably ending his career. But yeah, everything else is straight down the line. Amari DiMercado is the one to own there in the backfield until Trey Benson returns. Seattle, this is a blowout that needs not be discussed. I tweeted out that Jackson Smith and Jigba had the most disappointing at the time. I think it was 82-yard, one touchdown performance of all time. Like if you told me that's what he finished with, I wouldn't have been upset. But I think he did all of that on the first drive or first two drives, and then he checked out. And that's not to blame him. That's not to blame the coaching staff. Why would they play him? Right? It's a blowout. And next week they play the Rams. Little side note, if the Rams win that game, it'll be the first time in Matthew Stafford's career that he has a winning record, which is crazy. So that's a very big game in terms of the divisional race. Why risk injury for these guys? So shout out Cody White for playing 45 snaps. Good on you. And Nick Callerup, who we all know who that is. Okay. Rams. The Rams, Kyron Williams, Blake Corum are in a split, but it's RB 1A, 1B situation. Certainly Kyron Williams' job. Wide receivers, nothing really to say there. Tight ends, pretty healthy split amongst them all. I think Terrence Ferguson's the most interesting of the tight ends. Tyler Higbee's the most valuable of the tight ends. San Francisco, this was probably the box, or not the box score. The snap counts I was most interested in looking at this week because I didn't get to watch this game. So, like, I was searching on Twitter multiple times. Like, is Christian McCaffrey hurt? Why is Brian Robinson Jr. getting carries? And doesn't seem like he's hurt. It looks like going forward, as a McCaffrey owner, I hate it, but it makes sense. Brian Robinson Jr. has been pretty good running the ball in this offense, and they can't afford Christian McCaffrey getting hurt if they want a late season push here when everybody else gets a little bit healthier. So it seems like Brian Robinson Jr. is going to be a little bit more involved. McCaffrey's clearly still going to play a ton. He's going to catch the ball a ton. But look for Brian Robinson to take some carries away from him, which, again, selfishly stinks, but makes sense from a football standpoint. Detroit blew out a bad football team, and even though they were winning by a ton, they kept playing their guys. So you can say some things about that, I suppose, but not much to take away from that. Washington, bad football team. If you are a football team that has Treylon Burks lead in receiving, you are a bad football team. If you are a team that has Robbie Chosen on your football team, you are a bad football team. Not much to say about this. Stay away from all of their running backs. Deebo Samuel's probably a wide receiver 3, maybe 2, low end 2. I like Jalen Lane as a player. The rookie is electric. He should hopefully get more run. Certainly deserves more than Treylon Burks. And then tight end wise, Zach Ertz sees a major downgrade with Mariota just because Jaden Daniels relied on him so much. But yeah, he'll still catch a fair amount of passes, I suppose. And then this game that just happened, Steelers-Chargers, Kenneth Gainwell led the backfield in this game, which is a little bit interesting in snaps. Metcalf was pretty much an every down player. Kelvin Austin was the second most, had that bad drop that led to an interception. And since the Steelers were trailing in this game, Jonnu Smith led the tight ends in snaps. Obviously, if they were able to run the football, just lean on the run play with the lead, this would have been completely flipped. Darnell Washington would have played the most snaps. Each of those tight ends will play every single game, and they all have very distinct roles that are very well defined. So not much confusion there at this point in the season. And then Chargers, Amarian Hampton looks to be a couple of weeks away still. And Kamani Vidal is very much the leader here. He is very much in control of that job. From a receiving standpoint, Keenan Allen, they wanted to get him that record Chargers franchise leader in receptions. So I think maybe he played a few more snaps than he normally would have. Rookie Trey Harris continues to dominate snaps in single receiver sets. And then Aronde Gadsden, this is a situation to watch this week. He left with an injury to his knee in the third quarter, did not return to this game. When he's out, Tyler Conklin's the one who takes over that receiving tight end role. So if Gadsden does miss this next upcoming game, watch Conklin. Like, he is going to be the one that's needs to be owned or should be owned in this Chargers team. And if Gadsden misses time, I think that means good thing for Quentin Johnston as well. So definitely a situation to keep your eye on. Hopefully this worked. Hopefully this recorded well. That was the issue with the last one. I should have checked maybe in the middle. But please like, subscribe if you are enjoying these fantasy videos. If you're enjoying these uploads every single day in November, please show some love. And if you have any questions, any suggestions for more videos, please let me know and I will do those videos for you. Tomorrow, we got waiver wire editions yet again, waiver wire pickups tomorrow. So definitely come back, enjoy those, and pick up some good football players to help you win a fantasy football championship. I'm Zach Brunner. You can follow me on Twitter at Fantasy Flurry. That's where I'm most active. But follow Flurry Sports on YouTube, Twitch, our Facebook page. Go to flurrysports.org. Good information. These snap counts are listed in the description as well. A link to the article there. And I'll see you soon. Goodbye. Fuck yeah.